This video is sponsored by EA. More on it later on in the video. The funny thing about an anime season is that all it takes is a good episode or two to completely swing things around and throw these kinds of lists out of whack, especially with mid-season lists like this. Remember Demon Slayer's popularity sparked due to a late episode, and Bocchi took towards the end of the season to start storming through the anime world. But it's fun to make these mid-season lists and see which shows have all the momentum. So without further ado, here's my top 10 anime to watch this winter 2023. First off is Campfire Cooking in Another World. The year is 2023. Mappa's still going overdrive in taking those big projects. You know, these guys from stuff like Chainsaw Man, AOT, Jujutsu Kaisen, and now they find themselves busy with an isekai? Indeed, it's not the place to expect Mappa to be, but man, did they do a good job on this one. Isekai and cooking as a combination is nothing new. We already have a handful of those, but campfire cooking still manages to be quite entertaining in its own right. We all know the drill, don't we? Amongst a group of heroes transported into another world, one guy, who's the protagonist, gets blessed with a power that's completely out of the left field. So in this case, instead of something that can still be combat worthy, Tsuyoshi finds himself specializing in... Yep, cooking. But hey, cooking so well can still pay off big time, especially if you can use it to attract the aid of the legendary wolf Fenrir. Thus, this story follows the duo's journey in this strange world, solving problems and preparing the best and most amazing meals for this world's inhabitants. As you might expect, Campfire Cooking is a really chill anime. There's the isekai to give the whole thing a vibrant setting and the occasional fight, but it's mostly focused on the cooking aspect. It's funny, relaxing, and actually, it's quite educational if I do say so myself. Reborn to Master Blade, from Hero King to Extraordinary Squire, is the number 9 entry. Ah, yes. Yes. The gender bender isekai. It's a genre that's picking up steam in the online web novel communities. There's just something alluring about being a guy reincarnated into a girl and training from the ground up, owning your skills and unlocking OP powers as you go along. And I'd say that as a show, it's fine. Something that isekai fans will really like. It's paced rather quickly, but it's got enough cool moments, beautiful art, flashy action scenes, and great character designs that will keep you entertained. I just feel that in terms of what isekai and action fantasy fans typically look for, Reborn to Master the Blade has a good enough grasp of it. The protagonist does have an interesting dynamic within herself, having different worldviews and personalities between her two incarnations. Still, I've got to say, the show finds itself as a niche title that I'm not sure I could just recommend to anyone randomly, so I'm placing it here, but I did definitely enjoy it enough to include in this top 10 list. Following that, we have Reincarnation of Strongest Exorcist in Another World. And just like that, we're back to Reincarnation Land again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
I love anime. On a more serious note though, I think this is the reincarnation show that viewers will be more receptive towards. It's more by the book, and it does create an underdog story setup with our protagonist reincarnating into someone with far less power than he initially had to wield. The fights are pretty nice here, and I've been enjoying the character growth in terms of the protagonist Seika and the people who we all know will end up becoming his traveling companions and harem. Because we know that it does feel lonely at the top sometimes, and returning as a more toned down version of himself gives Seika a chance to forge bonds that he never had the chance to before. While we know it's going to be a power fantasy at the end of it all, it's the journey and the ride itself that's going to matter. If you're a fan of the genre and the whole power fantasy thing, then this is a show for winter 2023 that you're not going to want to miss. Now, before we continue, I must ask you a question. Have you heard about the hottest game in town, Wild Hearts? It's our sponsor EA's new game that puts a unique spin on the hunting genre. In this game, you'll need to craft and build using ancient technology to take on giant nature-infused beasts and save a world that's gone wild. So, are you ready for the challenge? Because you'll need to use all your skills, courage, and cunning to hunt down these beasts. And the best part, you'll get to explore a fantasy version of medieval Japan with multiple seasons, each hiding their own secrets and beauty. It's like taking a virtual vacation to a whole new world. But that's not all. You get to choose from 8 different weapons that suit your playstyle. Whether you're into smashing your foes with an imposing maul or defeating them with style and elegance with a bladed wagasa, there's plenty for every kind of hunter. And if you're feeling social, you can hunt with up to 2 other friends online, which makes it even more exciting. What's cool about Wild Hearts is the way it blends crafting, building, and hunting into a unique gaming experience. You'll use ancient technology to build traps and weapons that will help you take on these huge beasts. So, what are you waiting for? Check the link in the description and get ready to take on the beasts and become the ultimate hunter. Next is Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible.
石君の敵じゃなくて白石君のヒロイン。ほら、言ってみて。
それはないでしょ。
I love Takagi-san. And people apparently do, so the anime gods bestowed upon us a blessing. Mainly because of that, Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible ended up being one of the shows I look forward to watching the most this season. There's just something so appealing with the dynamic of a socially awkward guy and very upfront girl who likes to tease him, all with a cutesy, charming presentation. And we got the thing with Uzaki and the like, but the ones that emphasize that sweet, playful innocence just resonate with me so much better. Needless to say though, I liked Kubo, and it's largely to do with the implementation of the chibi, manga-like segments that add a distinct flavour to the show. It does give the show a unique essence, something to set it apart from its peers no matter how superficial it's going to seem. And as for the plot, well, nothing much really needs to be said, honestly speaking. It's just something that you watch to unwind and get some smiles on your faces. It's a pretty good show overall. From the get-go, you know what you're going to be getting, and there's going to be loads of it, so you won't be disappointed.
私の勝ち。
Next up I have High Card. Entering the season, High Card is a show that I'm excited for, but I also feel it's pretty niche in terms of anticipation. I've always liked modern fantasy series, and the idea of cards and superpowers makes the whole thing feel like a blend that I really would enjoy very much. And then there's the stakes and the somber, faded tone of the setting. So far, I haven't been disappointed, and it's pretty much met my expectations and then some. It's got the right mix of intriguing setup, some characters that test what we know about morality, and the whole gritty Western-inspired backdrop to it. If anything, it kind of feels like Bungo Stray Dogs, as people have noted. I can't wait to see what's to come, especially with knowing about the different powers bestowed by the cards. Pun or not, I'm really high on High Card. I just wish we got a steadier pace to get more information on the cards in the world. At 5, we take a look at Buddy Daddies. I've had a number of misses or overlooked shows coming into seasons before, and I think that's the fun of these pre-season videos. It also shows that there are still some surprises to come several weeks into the season, and for this one, Buddy Daddies is the one that I'm enjoying a lot. I can't help but feel that Buddy Daddies is a show that's riding high on the popularity of Spy Family and Yakuza Guide to Babysitting, but even without that comparison, Buddy Daddies remains a pretty fun show to follow and watch. While it doesn't quite hit the mark if you compare it to Spy Family, Buddy Daddies does do a better job at being the show that brings a crude type of humour and over-the-top action in a similar vein to, say, Lupin the Third. Buddy Daddies won't be the show to set the anime world on fire, but it's something that has let me go through the pressures and the stresses of the weekly grind. I don't pay much attention to this entering the season, but I am sure glad I decided to give it a shot. Tomo-chan is a Girl is next on the list. Now, here's a show that I'm sure people didn't overlook. Tomo-chan has been one of the more anticipated titles coming into winter 2023, and after a couple of episodes, I'd say that it definitely deserved all of that hype. Tomo-chan is an anime that's been nothing but entertaining. I can't get enough of the antics of the main characters. When it comes to slice of life titles with very simple plots like this, a lot of the onus falls on the anime production team and the voice actors, and they've done a wonderful job at bringing this funny and colourful tale of teen romance to life here. The cool thing is that underneath all the fluff tough and the funny, there also lies some good themes that resonate with viewers, like how people can be different from what they seem at first. Overall, a wholesome tale that dazzles us with comedy, yet at the end of it, it's also a romantic journey that's worth every step of the way.
どうした？
Next on my list is The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten.
男なら女の子と二人きりの時手を出すと思うよ。
If you've been following the channel, you might know that I'm more of an action type of anime viewer. However, a genre that I also really like is the rom-com, specifically these sweet and charming shows with a blend of self-help in it. I've always favoured Snafu, and I still rank Saigano as one of my favourites in the genre.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, however, tickles a slightly different itch. Will a simple act of kindness help a person reach a better, more fulfilling life, and in the process experience the joys of a budding relationship? Seems very idealized, doesn't it? But hey, it is the world of anime, and it's fun seeing these idealized and warm relationships develop over the course of many episodes. What helps us enjoy the ride even more is the art and the overall production quality of the show. It's quite appealing, and it gives a soft touch that's on par with what you'd expect from a show like this. Warm and sweet are basically the key words to describe this one. It's not something you'll get too hyped about due to insane fights or heavy drama, but it doesn't need to be in order to entertain.
帰ります。
え？あ、俺何かしたっけ？
Trigun Stampede is next on the list. Being a boomer in modern anime standards, meaning a guy who's been watching stuff in the 90s, Trigun is an anime which is really close to my heart actually. It's not anime of the decade or anything like that, but I do feel it deserves its place as one of the classics from its time. Trigun Stampede, as a return of the IP in the modern times, ended up being a little bit more 50-50. On one hand, I do like how Trigun was reintroduced to the modern anime fans. It's still got some of the swagger and the cool action scenes of the original. It's really nice to see Vash back in action and still being the badass that he was. For new people coming into the show, Trigun Stampede does its job decently well. It's got great fight animation, and the constant action ought to keep fans always at the edge of their seats. It's not quite the original, but I feel that it's an adjusted version for modern audiences who prefer their action and flashy visuals. It's the same though that it'll never be mainstream because it's completely CGI, but I really hope people do give it a shot. However, if you're up for action titles, the top anime on this list is the one for you. It's Nier. Now at this point in 2023, it would be trite to say that video game adaptations are just stepping up. With a lot of bangers now, both in the world of anime and Western animation, these video game adaptations have already stepped up and taken the world by storm. The Cyberpunk anime was great, so under the same good circumstances, I had no doubt that the Nier anime would be a home run, and for the most part of it, it actually is. It would have been a challenge to adapt such a widely known and popular video game product as an anime, but this adaptation captured the magic of the games. The themes regarding humanity, the epic action sequences, the breathtaking aesthetic and style that fits the title so much. Nier as an IP and as a universe has so much story to tell, and I'm pleased to say that the amazing narrative style has been captured in this anime adaptation. I dare say that this can end up even better than Cyberpunk when it's all said and done. I mean, that is a pretty high bar, but the Nier adaptation is on the right track to be one of the best game adaptations in the past couple of years. Unfortunately, I did say on the right track. With a broadcast suspension and an indefinite return date, the whole thing could very well be derailed, so knock on wood. Still, even with the few episodes that are out, I personally have this as my favourite anime this season. I hope the eventual return to broadcast will continue to build on the positive momentum the first few episodes laid out. It is still quite early, but how does my list stack up against yours? Let me know what you think in the comment section. You can also check the channel further for videos that you may like, and don't forget to check out Wild Hearts, links in the description. I'm glad to have you here, and I thank you so much again for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Take care.